And now we kind of covered a lot of interesting games, but a really interesting facet and interesting ranked group of 5 teams is how they were going to play next week. So we had South Florida and Memphis next week, but you kind of look at teams, how they approach trap games. That's what I kind of want to talk about now, because you really need to make sure you put the other team away. You really make sure that you don't slip up. Because you look at teams like Texas, they were in a trap game against Florida right before they played Red River. You could clearly tell they overlooked them.
Mhm.
Things like that, you could clearly tell. You could clearly tell Arkansas and Auburn are kind of trap games in the SEC. That Kentucky game against Texas was very much a trap game. Trap games are really interesting, and the way that they should be handled is what South Florida did to Florida Atlantic, Jack. I mean, 48-13, dominant, never a doubt. This is what you need to do to take care of business, Jack, especially with a huge matchup on the horizon.
Yeah, very impressive win for South Florida, and this is what you need to do and not look over opponents like you just said, like
Right.
Memphis just did, maybe Nebraska just did. We'll get into that game. It's very impressive for South Florida. And if Memphis doesn't do that, maybe goes for game day
Mm-hmm.
this week, and most likely there's not going to be
Right.
any Group of Five or American game day this year, which really
No.
sucks. And it
Yeah.
just sucks that Memphis just horrible, horrible game against UAB. But South Florida, really impressive win. And I think this is the top 15 team. Only loss is Miami, which did
Right.
struggle against Louisville, obviously, did not look great at all. But Louisville's still a good team as well. Very impressive win. FAU, not a great team. Lane Kiffin coach there. That's kind of their biggest im- impressive moment in their season as they kind of had. But they're a newer team. This team, I think their first season was in 2001 or something. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, impressive win. And this is one team that has never been ranked. I just recently watched a video on
Really.
teams that have never been ranked. Eastern Michigan was there. UTEP was there. So yeah, it was interesting. But this is definitely how you should handle teams like this.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Right.
going into a big matchup like Memphis, not look overlooking opponents like we've seen a lot.
Right.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
think South Florida is. I mean, that one touchdown with Byron Brown, that
Mm-hmm.
67-yard touchdown, was just so impressive. Byron Brown continues to impress, and I expect him to do the same
Right.
thing against the Tigers next week.
Right. And Florida Atlantic's best moment didn't really come from their football team. You don't really hear too much about their football team. They don't create too much buzz. No disrespect to them, but like you said, they've never been ranked and they haven't been around for too long. But the thing that most people would probably recognize them for, and that's certainly the first thing I think of, is them making the Final Four in March
Right.
Madness, which is huge. Not a lot of teams can make that claim. The Owls did that. And I think they were like a 9 seed in that mayhem year a few years ago. So South Florida, definitely a way that you're supposed to take care of business.